Have you ever sat alone, thinking, why did I do that? Do you ever wonder if your life would be better if you had made a different choice? Have you felt that heavy feeling in your heart, wishing you could go back in time and change something? Let's take a small example. Imagine a person who had a chance to say sorry to their mother before she passed away, but they didn't. Now, years later, the regret keeps coming back. They smile outside but cry inside. That single moment becomes a shadow that follows them everywhere. Isn't that a familiar feeling for many of us? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we gently bring light to the places within us that hurt the most. If this topic touches your heart, even a little, then stay with us till the end. There's so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribes. So please, if you find peace in this message, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. You never know who might need these words today. Now, let's understand something deep but simple. In Buddhism, regret is not a punishment. It is not a sign that you are broken. It is a natural result of awareness. You regret because you have grown. You regret because now you know better. But here's the problem. We don't stop at regret. We replay it again and again, turning one mistake into endless suffering. The Buddha said that suffering doesn't come from the pain, but from our attachment to it. Regret becomes a prison when we hold on to it tightly. So what should we do? First, we must sit with it. Don't run from regret. Don't hide it under work, sleep, or entertainment. Just sit, breathe, and feel it. The pain is already inside. Avoiding it only gives it more power. Next, we must gently tell ourselves, yes, I made a mistake, but I'm not that mistake. This is where healing starts. Buddhism teaches that the present moment is always fresh. Every breath is a new chance. Regret wants to trap us in the past, but mindfulness could bring us back, right here, right now. Let's walk this path together, turning regret into a path of awakening. So you have walked with regret for some time now, haven't you? Like a traveler who carries a stone in his bag. Heavy, silent, but always there. At first, it was small, but over time it grew. Maybe you didn't even notice how much it started to shape your days. And now you ask me, Master, can this pain ever become something good? I smile gently and say, yes, my dear one. Yes, it can. Regret is not a dead end. It is not the end of your story. In fact, it can be the very beginning of something beautiful. A seed. But what do you do with a seed? Do you stare at it and cry, thinking of the tree it could have become? Or do you take it, place it in good soil, water it, and wait with care? Regret, if held gently, can be the seed of awakening. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's sit down, calmly, like we are under a tree. You and me. No rush. Just breath. Just space. In Zen, we don't escape life. We don't fight feelings. We meet everything as it is, with open eyes and open heart. So when regret knocks at our door, we bow to it. We say, there you are. Come in. Let's sit together. This is the first lesson. Don't run. Don't push it away. Meet it. You see, regret only becomes poison when we resist it. Like a thorn, the more we try to yank it out roughly, the deeper it goes. But if we slow down, breathe, and touch it with care, it starts to soften. Regret is your heart showing you what matters. Think about that. If you regret not spending more time with someone, it means you love them. If you regret being harsh with your words, it means you care. The pain is a signal. It shows you your values. So, instead of being angry at the regret, say thank you to it. Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me of what's important. Thank you for helping me grow. The second lesson is use the regret, not as a chain, but as a guide. Ask yourself, what is this regret trying to teach me? If you regret a choice, learn from it. If you regret words spoken in anger, become more mindful of speech. If you regret staying silent when you should have spoken up, then next time, speak, even if your voice trembles. In the Zen way, we don't talk too much about good or bad. We ask what brings peace. If your past brings pain, then plant new actions that bring calm. You are not bound to your history. The past is gone. Like last night's dream, you cannot go back and change it. But the present? The present is yours. You can turn every regret into a vow, a promise, that from this moment on, you will live more awake, more kind, more real. Let me tell you a story. There was once a monk who, before joining the monastery, lived a wild life. He drank, he fought, he even harmed others. But one day, he sat by a river and watched the water flow. He realized the river doesn't hold on to what passed. It flows, always. And he cried. He came to the Zen temple and asked the old master, "Can I be forgiven?" The master looked at him and said, "Forgiveness is not needed, only understanding. Now that you see, live differently." That monk went on to become one of the most peaceful men the village had ever known. His past did not define him. His present did. So I tell you, just like that monk, your regret does not define you. But how you walk from here, that defines everything. There's a practice we do in Zen. It's called gas show. We place our palms together, bow the head, and silently say, "Thank you." We do this even when things hurt, especially then, because that is when learning happens. You can do the same. Sit quietly, place your hands together, think of what you regret, and bow, not in shame, but in respect, because that regret taught you something precious. When we stop fighting with the past, the present becomes clear. Now let me give you one more simple idea. It may sound small, but it is powerful. Every time your mind brings up an old mistake, say to yourself, "That was me then. This is me now." Again, "That was me then. This is me now." Like clouds in the sky, thoughts come and go, but the sky remains. You are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are the sky. Sometimes people say, "But Master, I hurt someone. How can I forgive myself?" And I say, make it right if you can. If not, dedicate your good actions to them. Kill others in their name. Live kindly is a way of offering peace. This way, your regret becomes a lamp, not a weight. It lights the path forward. Even great beings made mistakes. Even those closest to the Buddha struggled. One of his disciples, Angulimala, had done terrible things before meeting the Buddha. But he changed. He became calm, peaceful. A monk. People feared him at first, but over time, his new actions spoke louder than his past. So don't let anyone, including yourself, trap you in your old story. You can rewrite it, not with words, but with your living. Let regret come in. Let it sit. Let it teach you. Then bow and move on. You are still walking. You are still learning. And that, my dear one, is beautiful. The path of awakening does not begin in perfection. It begins in honesty, in the quiet moment when you say, "I want to grow." So go ahead, walk. Even if your steps are small, even if you fall, keep walking. Regret is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Treat it with kindness. And keep going. Mindfulness, the first step toward healing. Sit down, my child. Breathe in gently. Feel the air as it enters your nose. Feel your chest rise. And now breathe out softly. Do you feel that moment of stillness between the breaths? That, my dear one, is where healing begins. Regret is a flame that burns slowly. You think of something from your past, and your heart tightens. You feel shame, sadness, maybe even anger. The mind says, "Why did I do that?" Or "I shouldn't have said that." Again and again. That voice inside keeps repeating the same thing, doesn't it? But let me tell you something simple and powerful. That voice is not you. It is just a sound in the mind. And when you learn to watch it without fear, it starts to lose its power over you. That's what mindfulness means. Being fully present. Not lost in the past. Not afraid of the future. Just here. This breath. This step. This very moment. When we are mindful, we do not push regret away. We do not fight with it. We simply notice it. Like a leaf floating on a river. You see it pass. You don't jump in to grab it. You don't curse the river. You just observe. The river keeps flowing. And so does your life. Many people think mindfulness is something big or difficult, but it is not. You don't need to climb a mountain or chant strange words. You can begin right now. Just pay attention. When you eat, just eat. Notice the taste, the texture. When you walk, just walk. Feel the ground. Feel your feet touching it. When regret arises in your heart, don't panic. Just say, this is regret. Watch how it feels in the body. Maybe a tight chest, a heavy stomach. Be gentle with it. Mindfulness is like holding your own heart in your hands with kindness. I once knew a young monk who made a big mistake. He disobeyed his teacher and brought shame to his monastery. For months, he could not sleep well. He cried often. He thought he was a failure. But the wise master didn't scold him. He only said, "Come, sit, watch your breath." The monk did not understand. How could something so simple fix something so big? But slowly, as days passed, something changed. The monk learned to just sit, just breathe. He watched the storm in his mind without running away. And in time, the storm faded. You see, my dear one, we suffer because we keep trying to run from the pain. We try to hide from it, or we punish ourselves again and again. But the Buddha taught that the way out is not to escape. It is to understand. And understanding begins with attention. Attention to the present moment. This is the heart of mindfulness. Many people try to fix regret by doing more, working harder, saying more prayers, trying to be perfect. But healing does not come from doing more. Healing comes from stopping, from being still, from seeing clearly what is. The lotus flower blooms not because it escapes the mud, but because it grows through it. In the same way, your regret can become the soil for your awakening, but only if you face it with clear eyes and a calm mind. Now listen closely. If regret was just a mistake, it would be easy. But regret is sticky. It grows because we keep feeding it with thoughts. I am bad. I am not worthy. I ruined everything. These are not facts. These are judgments. And judgments are like thorns. We keep stabbing ourselves with them, even when the wound is already open. Mindfulness helps you to pull out those thorns, one by one. It doesn't remove the memory. It doesn't change the past, but it removes the poison. In one old story, the Buddha speaks of the second arrow. He says when life hits you with pain, that is the first arrow. But when you react with anger, fear, regret, that is the second arrow, and we shoot it into ourselves. Again and again. Mindfulness is how we stop shooting. It is the wisdom that says this happened. It hurts, but I will not harm myself further. Do you understand? Even in silence, the mind may speak. But when you listen to it like a wise, old friend, not as your master, you begin to smile again. You begin to forgive yourself. And slowly, slowly, the heavy stone of regret becomes lighter. You do not need to solve the past. You only need to return to this moment. Again and again. This is your path. Let's do it together now. Just one breath. Inhale. Exhale. Feel your feet. Feel your hands. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the beating of your heart. This is life. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. But now. And now again. You are not broken. You are growing. You are not your mistake. You are the one who learned from it. You are not your regret. You are the one who is ready to be free. This is the way of mindfulness. Simple, gentle, powerful. Walk this path step by step, and one day, you will look back and see that regret is no longer your shadow, but your teacher. And you are smiling. The role of forgiveness in letting go. Sit with me for a while, and let us breathe together. Slowly, deeply, calmly. You have carried pain for a long time, haven't you? Not just pain from what others did, but pain for what you did or didn't do. And sometimes, the pain of regret is heavier than any stone. It pulls your heart down every time you try to rise. Today, I speak to you not as a master with answers, but as someone who has walked through the same fire. And I bring you a simple word, a powerful word, forgiveness. Yes, that's the doorway we must walk through now. You see, many people think forgiveness is something you give to others. That is only half of it. Real forgiveness must begin within. Forgiveness is not saying, it didn't happen. It's not saying, it was okay. It's not even saying, I've forgotten it. No, true forgiveness is simply saying, I no longer want to suffer for this. Let me tell you a small story. A monk once carried a woman across a muddy river because she could not cross alone. Later, his younger brother monk said, we are not allowed to touch women. Why did you carry her? The older monk smiled and said, brother, I left her at the riverbank hours ago. Why are you still carrying her? This is regret. This is holding. This is memory turned into pain. In life, you made choices. Some wise, some foolish, some you didn't even understand at the time. And now, you suffer because your heart whispers, if only I had done it differently. But what good is that whisper if it only wounds you again? The Buddha said that clinging to anger is like holding a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You're the one who gets burnt. Regret is the same. We think we deserve the pain. We think suffering is a kind of payment. But my dear one, pain is not payment. Pain is just pain. And forgiveness is the end of that pain. So how do we forgive ourselves? First, we must become quiet. Very quiet. We must listen, not to our thoughts because they often lie, but to the breath. The breath never lies. It is always here. Sit down. Breathe slowly. Feel where your regret lives. Maybe in the chest. Maybe in the stomach. Maybe behind the eyes. Breathe into that space. Say gently, yes, I see you. I am here. And then say, I did the best I could with what I knew. I allow myself to grow now. Sometimes we fear that forgiveness means forgetting the lesson. But it's not so. Forgiveness is not forgetting the lesson. It is releasing the poison. You can keep the lesson and let the poison go. Also remember, others have hurt you too. And maybe you're holding their mistakes tightly like sharp glass in your hands. You bleed, but you do not let go. Ask yourself why. If they cannot undo the past, and you cannot undo the past, then what are you protecting? Sometimes we hold anger because we are afraid that letting go will make us weak. But anger is not strength. Compassion is. Compassion says, I choose peace, not punishment. That is the moment we begin to walk freely. Let's go deeper. Forgiveness is not a sudden decision. It is a practice. You may forgive today and feel the pain again tomorrow. That is not failure. That is just the wind blowing through your house. Each time, return to your breath. Say again, I forgive myself. I forgive others. I choose to be free. Do not wait for someone else to come and say sorry to you. They may never come. They may not even remember. Waiting for someone else's apology is like waiting for rain in a desert. Bring your own water. Water your own soul with kindness. And sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. I know. Maybe you left someone who loved you. Maybe you hurt someone with your words. Maybe you wasted years on something that was never meant for you. Maybe you didn't speak up when it mattered. Or maybe you simply weren't ready to be the person you are now. It's okay. Life is not a perfect line. It bends. It loops. It sometimes falls. And yet, here you are. Still breathing. Still growing. Still listening. You are not who you were. That is the gift of this moment. The Buddha taught about metta, loving kindness. Not only for others, but for oneself. Can you sit quietly and say, may I be safe? May I be free from regret? May I forgive myself? May I be at peace? Say it again, even if your heart doesn't believe it yet. Say it again. Forgiveness is not for perfect people. It is for real people. For you. For me. For all of us. Each time you forgive, your heart becomes lighter. Each time you let go, your breath becomes easier. Each time you speak kindly to yourself, your future opens a little more. Don't wait until the last day of your life to say, I forgive. Say it now, while your eyes are still open. Say it now, while your breath is still moving. Say it now, because now is the only time you truly have. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it changes the future. It is the path the Buddha walked, the path many great beings walked. And now, it could be your path too. Let go, not because the past didn't matter, but because you matter more. Now, sit with me just a little longer. Breathe in, breathe out, smile gently. Your healing has already begun, breaking the chains of guilt and shame. Sit down, my child. Let us talk slowly, like the wind passing through tall grass. There is no hurry here. We are not running anywhere. In fact, we are stopping, truly stopping for once. Tell me this. Have you ever made a mistake and then punished yourself in your mind 1,000 times? Maybe you said something you didn't mean. Maybe you hurt someone. Maybe you broke your own promise. And then afterward, you felt a heavy weight inside. That weight is called guilt. And when guilt stays too long, it turns into shame. Guilt says, I did something wrong. Shame says, I am wrong. Do you see the difference? Guilt can be helpful, like a soft bell reminding us to make things right. But shame? Shame is like a storm. It darkens everything. It whispers that you are not good enough, not lovable, not worthy. And the more you listen to it, the more it wraps around your heart. Buddhism teaches us to look at everything with gentle eyes, even our guilt, even our shame. We do not push these feelings away. We do not call them bad. We just bow to them and say, "Ah, so you are here too. You are not your guilt. You are not your shame. These are just visitors, clouds passing through the sky of your mind." When we make a mistake, the first thing to do is to see it clearly. No excuses, no lies, just honesty. Yes, I made a mistake. This is the beginning of true peace. But then comes the next step, which many people forget: compassion. Compassion is not a reward. It is medicine. When the wound of guilt appears, we need the balm of kindness. Not later, not after punishment, right now. Imagine a child who drops a glass and starts crying. Would you scold that child harshly? Or would you pick them up and say, "It's okay. Accidents happen"? Now, take that same softness and offer it to yourself. You have suffered enough. Carrying guilt for too long is like carrying a hot stone in your hand. At first, it burns. Then, you get used to the pain. You forget what life feels like without it. But the burn is still there. Wouldn't it be better to open your hand and let the stone fall? The Buddha once said that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The same is true for guilt and shame. We think we're being noble by punishing ourselves. But really, we're just adding more suffering to an already painful world. Let's go even deeper. There was a monk who once made a great mistake. He fell into deep shame. He stopped meditating. He avoided the Sangha. He even thought of leaving the monastery. One day, the master came to him and asked, "Why are you hiding?" The monk said, "Because I have failed. I am full of guilt. I am ashamed." The master smiled and pointed to a tree outside. "Do you see that tree?" he asked. "In winter, it has no leaves. It stands quietly. It does not shout, 'I am a bad tree.' It knows that spring will come again. Your heart is the same. Let rest. Spring will come. This is the way of Zen. We do not rush. We do not fight. We simply return again and again to this moment, this breath. Sometimes people think they need to be perfect to be free of guilt. But perfection is a trap. Even the Buddha made mistakes before he awakened. Perfection is not the path. Presence is. Awareness is. Kindness is. You may ask, but what if my mistake hurt someone else? Then, if possible, make amends. Apologize if you can. If not, send them your silent blessing. Wish them peace. And then, live in a way that brings goodness into the world. That is real repentance. Not endless self-punishment, but daily acts of love and understanding. Each time you meditate with a soft heart, you are healing your past. Each time you choose compassion over cruelty, you are planting new seeds. You don't need to erase your past. You only need to stop dragging it behind you. There's a Zen story of a monk and his student walking down the road. They come to a river where a woman is struggling to cross. The monk lifts her onto his back, carries her across, and sets her down. They walk on. Hours later, the student says, "Master, why did you carry that woman? We are not supposed to touch women." The master replies, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" That is how shame works. The event is gone, but we keep carrying the memory. We carry it in our thoughts, in our body, even in our dreams. It becomes a habit, and that habit becomes a prison. But the door is always open. You can walk out right now. Just say to yourself, "This shame has taught me enough. I do not need it anymore." You don't need to shout it. You don't need to convince anyone. Just know it quietly in your heart. Even a lotus grows from the mud. So yes, you may have fallen, but that fall was not the end. It was a beginning. Now you rise. Now you walk again. And each step forward is a blessing to the world. Sit with your guilt. Bow to it. Thank it. Then let it go. Break the chain. It was never locked. You were always free, just forgotten. Now remember, have you ever wondered how the Buddha's closest followers dealt with regret? Those disciples were not perfect. They made mistakes just like us. Yet, their stories show us how to face regret with courage and wisdom. Today, I will share with you their lessons. Listen carefully, for these are not just ancient tales, but living teachings for your heart. One disciple, named Ananda, was known for his devotion, but also for his many regrets. He once forgot to remember the Buddha's teachings in an important moment. He felt deep sorrow afterward, but instead of hiding from his regret, Ananda chose to bring it before the Buddha openly. The Buddha did not scold him. Instead, he said, "Ananda, regret is a teacher, not a jailer." From that day, Ananda learned to accept his mistakes, to see regret as a sign that he was growing in understanding. He learned that regret can be a guide that shows us the path to change. Another disciple, Sariputta, was known for his clarity and wisdom. Once, he saw a young monk struggling with regret over a harsh word spoken in anger. Sariputta advised him, "Do not allow regret to change your mind. Acknowledge the pain, then return to kindness. Forgive yourself, as you would forgive a friend." Here, the lesson is clear. Regret without forgiveness traps us, but forgiveness frees us. Sariputta teaches us that to grow beyond regret, we must practice compassion toward ourselves. Let me tell you about another disciple, Mahakassapa, who once doubted his own worthiness after failing to help a suffering friend. He was filled with regret and shame. The Buddha told him, "Even the greatest tree grows from a tiny seed of failure. Do not be discouraged by your regret. Let it nourish your roots." This shows us that regret is not the end of the journey, but the soil in which new wisdom grows. Regret often comes from seeing our actions through a lens of self-judgment. The Buddha's disciples teach us to step back and observe our regrets without harshness. They invite us to be gentle, patient, and persistent. When you feel regret rising, pause. Breathe. See it as a cloud passing through the sky of your mind, not a storm that will last forever. The story of the disciple Uppalavanna reminds us that regret can be transformed through meditation. She was troubled by a decision that hurt someone she loved. She sat quietly and watched her thoughts without trying to change them. Gradually, her regret softened. She saw the feelings as waves on the ocean, sometimes strong, sometimes calm, but never permanent. Meditation helped her understand that regret is temporary, like all feelings. From these disciples, we learn that regret is deeply human. No one is free from it. The difference lies in how we respond. We can let regret imprison us, or we can use it as a stepping stone toward growth. The Buddha's disciples chose growth. They faced regret with honesty and kindness, turning pain into wisdom. There is another important teaching from the life of Narrated, a disciple who was blind but had clear insight. Once, Narrated felt regret for missing an opportunity to help a friend. The Buddha told him, "Your sight is limited, but your mind can see far. Use regret as a mirror to understand your heart, but do not let it blind you." This teaches us that regret is a mirror, not a punishment. It shows us what we value and where we can improve. One of the greatest lessons from the Buddha's community is that regret should never isolate us. The disciples lived in a community, supporting each other with kindness. When one fell into regret, others helped them see the light again. This reminds us, do not carry regret alone. Share it with trusted friends or teachers who can hold space for you with compassion. Let's reflect on the Buddha's own story. Before awakening, he felt regret for the life he had lived without understanding. But he did not let regret stop him. Instead, he turned inward and sought truth. His regret became the fuel for his great awakening. If the Buddha could transform regret into enlightenment, then surely we can transform our regrets into steps on the path. How can we follow these teachings today? When regret comes, do not run. Look deeply. What is it trying to teach you? Are you holding yourself too tightly in blame? Can you open your heart to forgiveness? Like Ananda, bring your regret into the light. Like Sariputta, soften your heart with compassion. Like Mahakassapa, use your regret as soil to grow wisdom. Like Uppalavanna, sit with your feelings until they lose their sharpness. Remember, regret does not define you. It is a feeling that comes and goes like the seasons. Do not fear it, and do not chase it away. Simply be with it. and let it teach you how to live with more awareness and kindness. The Buddha's disciples walked the path of regret and found freedom. You can too. Take one small step now. Breathe deeply. Feel your heart. Know that regret is not your enemy, but your silent teacher. In this way, the lessons of the Buddha's followers become your guide, leading you from regret to peace, from sorrow to wisdom. Walk gently, friend, and remember, every regret carries a seed of awakening, impermanence, and a freedom to begin again. Listen carefully, my friend. There is a great truth that the Buddha shared, one that can ease the heaviest burdens of regret. This truth is called impermanence, the simple fact that nothing in life stays the same forever. Everything changes. Every moment passes and a new one comes. Like the river that flows without stopping, your life too is always moving. When we hold on tightly to our past decisions, especially the ones we regret, it is like trying to grab water in our hands. We squeeze and clutch, but the water slips away, leaving only the pain of emptiness. Why do we do this? Because we forget that life is a river, not a stone. It is not fixed, but flowing. Think about the trees outside. They grow new leaves every spring. Old leaves fall, and new ones take their place. The tree does not mourn the loss of leaves. It simply continues its dance with the seasons. Why? Because it knows the truth of impermanence. You too can learn this dance. Your past mistakes, your regrets, are like those old leaves. They fall away. They do not define who you are. They do not trap you. You can let them go. But how? How do we truly understand impermanence so that regret no longer controls us? First, we must see clearly. When a painful memory arises, watch it like a passing cloud. Notice it, feel it, but know that it will not stay. Just as the cloud drifts and disappears, so does every feeling and every thought. Nothing lasts forever. Not pain, not joy, not regret. When we see impermanence deeply, we realize that we are not stuck. We are free. The past is not a prison, but a classroom. We can learn, then move on. Like a traveler on the road who rests for a moment, but does not build a cage around that resting place. We can pause in our regrets, but then continue forward. This is the freedom to begin again. No matter what happened yesterday, or last year, or even long ago, today is fresh. Today is new. Today is a blank page. The Buddha said, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. When regret pulls you backward, remember this teaching. Bring your attention back to right now. The moment you breathe in, you begin again. The moment you breathe out, you leave the past behind. There is no failure, only feedback. Your mistakes are teachers, showing you what to change, what to grow beyond. They're like the dark nights that make the stars shine brighter. Now, imagine yourself as the sun rising each morning. The night is gone, but the memory of darkness remains only as a distant thought. You shine, warm and bright, because the new day has begun. You may wonder, but what if I keep making the same mistakes? What if I cannot escape regret? This is a natural fear, but it too is impermanent. The Zen Master says, practice patience with yourself. Change does not happen overnight. Like a seed buried in the earth, growth takes time, unseen at first. But if you water it daily with mindfulness and kindness, it will sprout. Each moment offers you the chance to choose differently. Even if you stumble, you can get up. Even if you fall, you can rise. This is the gift of impermanence. Every moment is new, and you are always becoming. Do not be afraid of change. Embrace it. Like the river that never stops flowing, life moves forward, carrying you toward new possibilities. You are not who you were yesterday, and you are not who you will be tomorrow. You are who you choose to be right now. Let go of the idea that your past decisions trap you. Instead, see them as stepping stones on your path. Each one taught you something valuable. Each one helped you grow stronger. The scars of regret are like the rings inside a tree trunk, signs of survival and wisdom. Buddhism teaches us about anicca, the truth of impermanence. When you meditate on anicca, your heart begins to soften. You no longer clutch to what is lost. You open your hands and your mind, ready to receive what comes next. Breathing in, say silently to yourself, "This too shall pass." Breathing out, say, "I am free to begin again." This simple practice, repeated often, can change your life. It rewires the mind, slowly but surely. Regret loses its grip. Peace grows in its place. Remember, the present moment is your home, is the only place where change happens. If you live fully here, regret fades like a distant shadow. The sun of awareness shines brightly, warming your heart and lighting your way. The Zen Master also reminds you, do not judge yourself harshly for your past. You did the best you could with the wisdom you had then. Now, with new understanding, you can act with more compassion toward yourself and others. Compassion is the key to freedom. When you treat yourself kindly, regret transforms from a prison into a teacher. You see mistakes as chances to learn, not to punish. The river flows, the tree grows, the sun rises again. So can you. Every breath is a fresh beginning. Every moment is a chance to live without regret. So stand up now, take a deep breath, and step forward with a heart full of courage and peace. This is the freedom of impermanence. This is the freedom to begin again, using meditation to transform regret. Regret. That strange pain that lives in your chest, even when your life looks fine from the outside. You carry it like a silent stone in your heart. You may smile, laugh, even work hard, but deep inside, something feels unfinished, something hurts. This is the pain of old choices, old words you shouldn't have said, or words you never said at all. And yet, what is done cannot be undone, right? But what if I told you something different? Come, sit, breathe, let the wind pass. Let me tell you something simple, something true. The past may be gone, but you are still here. And that means transformation is still possible. Not through force, not through wishing the past away, but through gentle, steady presence. Through meditation. You see, regret is not your enemy. Regret is a teacher. It comes to show you where love was forgotten, where wisdom was missing, where awareness was asleep. But the lesson is not complete unless you sit with it. And how do we sit with something so painful? That's where meditation becomes the most beautiful medicine. Meditation is not about stopping your thoughts. No, that's a big misunderstanding. Meditation is simply sitting, breathing, being honest with what is here. Even if what is here is regret, even if it burns. Especially then. Let me give you a small story. There was once a young monk. Before becoming a monk, he was a soldier. In war, he had taken lives. After the war, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't smile. Even after putting on the robes, learning the teachings, meditating every day, he still carried regret in his chest like a blade that never left. He asked the master, "Will I ever be free of what I have done?" The master said, "Only if you stop running away from it." So the young monk sat. He sat with his regret. Not once, not for 1 hour, but every day. He looked deeply, not judging, not escaping, just breathing and allowing the regret to unfold its message. Slowly, very slowly, the regret softened. He stopped hating himself. He saw that even though his past was dark, his present could be full of light. The same hands that once hurt could now serve. The same heart that once closed could now open. That is the power of meditation. When you sit in meditation, you don't erase your past. You create space around it. You see it clearly. You realize, this is what happened. This is what I felt. This is what I didn't understand back then. You allow your heart to feel what it couldn't feel when a mistake happened. You give it the time and attention it never had. And this is how healing begins. But be gentle. The mind will try to distract you. It will say, "This is boring," or "This won't fix anything." The regret will rise like a wave. It may even bring tears. But don't be afraid. The wave rises and the wave falls. Just stay with your breath. Just be present. Some people ask, "What kind of meditation should I do?" Start simple. Sit still. Close your eyes. Feel your breath go in and out. When a painful memory comes, don't push it away. Watch it like you'd watch a bird in the sky. Don't follow it. Don't fight it. Just watch and breathe. One helpful technique is loving-kindness meditation. In Buddhism, we call it metta. You sit quietly and send kind thoughts to yourself, even if you don't believe them at first. Say in your heart, "May I be at peace. May I forgive myself. May I learn. May I grow." This is not selfish. This is necessary. You can also imagine the person you hurt, or the person who hurt you. Send them kind thoughts too. May they be well. May they be free from suffering. Even if you feel anger, even if you feel sorrow, say it gently. Over time, this softens your heart. Regret cannot survive in a heart full of compassion. But you must water that compassion daily, like a flower in dry soil. Don't expect instant results. Meditation is like drops of water on stone. Slowly, gently, the shape of your mind changes. You don't even notice it at first. But one day you realize the pain is still there, but it no longer controls you. You can smile. You can sleep. You can breathe freely again. Remember this. Regret is a message, not a life sentence. Meditation is your way of listening to that message, understanding it, and letting it go. And if you find yourself falling back into sorrow again, that's okay too. Come back. See again. Every session of meditation is like lighting a candle in the darkness. Even if you light only one candle a day, the darkness cannot win forever. The Buddha himself taught this. He said, "As a solid rock is not shaken by the wind, so the wise are not shaken by blame or praise." When you meditate with a sincere heart, you become that rock, unshaken, unburdened, free. Meditation doesn't mean perfection. It means acceptance. It means presence. It means being real. So, if regret has made a home in your heart, don't try to evict it forcefully. Just invite it to sit with you. Offer it tea. Let it speak. Then, when it has said all it needed to say, it will leave on its own. The deepest healing is not about fixing the past. It's about being kind to the one who lived through it. Seek, breathe, smile gently. The past cannot be changed, but you can transform. That is the way of the Zen path. How right view can liberate past regrets. You're here again, thinking of something you did long ago. Something you said or didn't say. Something you chose or failed to choose. Regret, like a shadow, keeps following you. Even in your silence, it speaks. Even in your dreams, it whispers. You ask me, "Master, why can't I let go?" And I say to you, because you're looking with the wrong eyes. Let me explain. In the Buddhist teaching, there is something called right view. It is the very first step of the Noble Eightfold Path. Without right view, you cannot take even one true step on the path. Your eyes may be open, but your mind will remain asleep. Right view means seeing things as they truly are, not as you wish they were, not as you fear they are, but simply as they are. Simple? Yes. Easy? No. Let's go back to your regret. Maybe you hurt someone you loved. Maybe you made a selfish decision. Or maybe you just feel your life could have been better if you had done something differently. Now you look at that past from today's mind and say, "Why did I do that?" But let me ask you, who is the you who made that decision? Is it the same you who is sitting here now? Or has something changed? Of course it has changed. Look closely. Your body has changed. Your thoughts have changed. Even your values have shifted. The person who made that choice was doing so from a different level of understanding, a different place of pain or confusion. So, are you blaming your present self for the mistakes of someone you no longer are? This is not right view. This is a mind trapped in illusion. Right view sees cause and effect clearly. It understands that nothing arises on its own. Every decision you made came from causes, some you knew, some you didn't. Your upbringing, your fears, your desires, your wounds, all of them pushed you. And you moved. The Buddha did not teach us to hate our past selves. He taught us to understand them. When you carry regret, you are often angry at yourself. You say, "I should have known better." But how could you? Did someone teach you? Did you truly see clearly back then? If not, how can you punish yourself now? You see, regret becomes heavy because it has judgment inside it. The moment you take out the judgment and replace it with wisdom, the weight becomes lighter. Right view doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. No. If you did harm, then you acknowledge it. You take responsibility, but you do it with compassion, not cruelty. Let me tell you a story from long ago. There was a young monk named Angulimala. Before he met the Buddha, he had killed many people. Yes, many. He lived with the deepest kind of regret. But when he met the Buddha, he changed. He dropped his weapons. He became a monk. Still, some people hated him. They shouted at him. They threw stones. But the Buddha said to him, "Bear it, Angulimala. Bear it with patience. The fruits of your past actions cannot be escaped, but they can be understood." Angulimala didn't run from his past. He faced it, but with new eyes. He walked forward, and eventually, he found peace. That is right view in action. You too must find this view. It is not far away. It's already within you, waiting. But you must be willing to let go of your favorite punishment, self-blame. Many people don't want to forgive themselves. Why? Because their suffering becomes familiar. It becomes their identity. If they let go of regret, they ask, "Then who will I be?" I will tell you, you will be someone lighter, someone softer, someone with space inside. Regret is like holding a burning coal in your hand, hoping it will turn into a flower. It won't. You must drop it. But dropping it doesn't mean pretending it never happened. That's not wisdom. Wisdom says, "Yes, I was unskillful. Yes, I didn't see clearly. But now I do. And from this moment on, I walk differently." This is the voice of right view. So how do you practice right view in daily life? Start small. When you feel regret rising, pause. Don't react. Don't judge. Just breathe. Ask yourself, what was I feeling back then? What was I needing? What was I afraid of? Try to understand, not attack. Then ask yourself, what have I learned since then? What would I do differently now? If you have changed, then let that be enough. Right view always leads to compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. We are all like travelers in a dark forest, trying to find the path. Sometimes we fall into mud. Sometimes we take a wrong turn. But if we are still walking, still learning, then we are not lost. Right view also means seeing that everyone else is also carrying regrets. Yes, even those who smile the most. So when you understand your own regret, you begin to soften toward others. That is the start of real wisdom. In the end, regret is not the enemy. It is the messenger. It comes to tell you something. But if you keep slamming the door on it, if you keep saying, "I hate this part of me," you miss the message. Open the door, listen, and then let it go. Because now, you're no longer that person. Now, you are aware. And awareness is the beginning of liberation. Keep walking. Don't look back with anger. Look back with understanding. Then step forward with right view in your heart and light in your steps. Living without looking back, the present moment path. Sit down, dear one. Take a breath. Just this one breath. Feel how it comes in and goes out. Now listen gently. Today we speak about something that sounds so simple, yet it is one of the hardest things for people to live. How to live without looking back. The past, oh, how it pulls on your heart. It whispers, you could have done better. It shows you moments, mistakes, missed chances. It makes you relive them over and over. You try to sleep, but memories wake you up. You try to smile, but the old pain tightens your chest. But let me ask you this. Have you ever touched the past? Can you go back and change it with your hands? No, the past is gone, like smoke in the wind, like footprints on a river. Still, people carry it on their backs like a heavy bag filled with stones. You see, regret is not the real enemy. Memory is not the real enemy. The real trouble is your clinging, your unwillingness to let go. Why? Because your mind keeps saying, if I don't hold on to it, I won't learn from it. But that is not true. A wise one learns and lets go. A foolish one keeps remembering and suffers again and again. So how do we live without looking back? You must train your attention, just like you train a child. When a child runs into a fire, you gently say, "No, not there." You guide them back. The same with your mind. When it runs to the past, to a decision you regret, don't scold it. To say, "Not now. Come back here." Bring it back to your breath, to your steps, to your food, to your tea, to the sound of the birds. This moment, right now, is the only home you have. The Buddha said, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Why? Because the past is memory. The future is imagination. The present is real, is alive, breathing, pulsing with possibility. Let me tell you a small story. A monk once carried a woman across a river. She had asked for help, and though monks are not to touch women, he helped her across. Later, another monk scolded him. "Why did you carry her? That breaks our vow." The first monk smiled and said, "I put her down at the river's edge. Why are you still carrying her?" This is what you do with your past. You carry it in your thoughts, in your guilt, in your fear of judgment. But that moment is long gone. Why are you still holding it? Some say, "But I hurt someone." Then go, if you can, and ask for forgiveness. Or do something kind in their name. But after that, you must let go. Your regret will not undo the harm. Your presence and transformation now. That is what heals the world. Now, let's talk about practice. Every time you notice your mind going to the past, just smile gently. You are catching it. That is already progress. Then return. Maybe say quietly, "I am here," or "This is now." Use your breath like an anchor. Out. The breath does not care about your regrets. It only flows. That is the path. Even great masters made mistakes, but they learn not to keep scratching the same old wound. A scar is not a punishment. It is a sign that healing happened. It is closed. Finished. The body has moved on. The mind must learn to do the same. The truth is, regret can only live in a distracted mind. A mind that is fully here, noticing the way the light falls on the floor, or the sound of a dog barking far away, has no space for regret. So do simple things with full attention. Wash dishes with your whole heart. Walk slowly, noticing each step. Listen to the rain without checking your phone. These small things build a strong present. And what happens when you live in the present? Peace. Not loud peace. Not fireworks peace. But quiet, steady peace. The sense that you are okay. But the past is just a book you have read. And now, you are writing a new page. Some people think that forgetting the past means being irresponsible. No, forgetting does not mean denying. It means not being trapped. You can honor your past. You can say, "Yes, that happened. I did that. I wish I had done better." Then bow to it and move on. This is the gift of the present moment. It doesn't care who you were. It only asks, who are you being now? If you regret being unkind before, then be kind now. If you regret wasting time, then use your time now. If you regret not speaking up, then speak truth now. Not tomorrow, not later. Now. That is how the present moment becomes your teacher, your healer, your guide. So, dear one, whenever your mind goes to the past, do not fight it. Do not argue. Just smile and come back. Like a bird that returns to its nest. Like water returning to the sea. The past cannot hear your cries. But this moment listens. Speak to it. Liven it. And let it gently carry you forward. No more chains. No more self-punishment. You are not your mistake. You are your choice right now. So choose peace. Choose presence. Choose to walk ahead without constantly looking behind. You are here. You are free. Let the past rest. It has already slept enough in your heart. Now, breathe, live, and smile. From regret to wisdom, the ultimate release. Come, sit with me. Breathe with me. Today, we're not going to talk about regret like we used to. Today, we're going to talk about something much more beautiful. Release. You have carried regret for so long, haven't you? Like a quiet stone in your heart. Like a soft voice whispering, "You should have done better." You may have smiled in front of others, but inside, there was always that tightness, that if only thought. But now, here we are, at the final step of this journey. You have walked with me through the pain, the shame, the guilt, the memories, the tears. And today, I want you to know something very simple and very important. You can let go. Yes, you can. Let go, not because what you did was okay, but because you're no longer that person. Let go, not because the past doesn't matter, but because clinging to it is stopping you from living now. Let go because you deserve peace. Do you know what the Buddha said about the past? He said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." And yet, most of our suffering comes from either holding on to old wounds or fearing what's next. But in this moment, Right now, there is no past. There is no mistake. There is no label. Just you, breathing, alive. I'll tell you a short story. One day, a young monk came to an old Zen master. His face was tired. His shoulders were heavy. He said, "Master, I have done many wrong things. I meditate, I chant, I study, but I cannot feel peace. What should I do?" The master gently smiled. He poured tea into the monk's cup. He kept pouring. The tea overflowed. The monk shouted, "Master, stop. The cup is full." The master looked at him and said, "Exactly. Your heart is the same. How can peace enter if it is already full of regret?" Silence. That was the moment the young monk realized, before peace can come in, pain must go out. So I ask you, what are you still holding? Is it the words you said in anger? Is it the love you didn't give when you had the chance? Is it the time you wasted, the people you hurt, the roads you didn't take? All of that. Yes, it happened. And it's okay to feel it. But it is not okay to punish yourself forever. You're not here to suffer. You're here to grow. Every time you regret, every time you look back, take a breath and ask, what is this moment asking of me? And maybe the answer will be gentle. Maybe the answer will be, try again. Or maybe the answer will simply be, let it go. Let me teach you a small practice. Seat. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out even more slowly. Now say in your mind, I forgive myself. Again, I forgive myself. Say it until your voice in the mind becomes real in your heart. Even if your voice trembles. Even if you don't believe it fully yet. Say it again and again. Because the heart listens, even when the mind resists. This is not weakness. This is courage. To face your own past with open eyes is strength. To forgive yourself is freedom. You see, life is not a straight line. We fall, we rise, we fall again. That's the dance of life. But each time we rise with a little more wisdom. That is the gift of regret. It becomes a teacher if we are willing to listen. If you can learn from your past and move forward with a softer heart, then your regret has not been in vain. It has ripened into wisdom. That is the Buddhist way. Not to bury pain, not to escape it, but to transform it. From stone into flower. Now listen to me, just like a student listens to his master. The time has come to stop looking back. You have learned. You have healed. You have grown. There's nothing more for you in those old memories except dust. Now, take a deep breath and take a step forward. Even if your step is small, even if your knees shake, even if the past tries to pull you back, walk anyway. Because life is not behind you. It is waiting in front of you. And in every moment, you have the power to choose peace. So, let this be the final lesson. Regret is not your enemy. It is your path. It led you here, to understanding, to softness, to compassion, to me, to yourself. And now let it rest. Let it become a chapter in your book, not the whole story. Because you're still writing, and the next pages can be beautiful. They can be full of kindness, truth, and light. If you let them. Thank you, truly, for walking this journey with me. If even one sentence from these 12 parts helped your heart feel lighter, then I bow to your effort. But remember, there's so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. If this journey meant something to you, please don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Help someone else release their regret, just like you did. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs peaceful ones. You'll become one. Take care. Breathe softly. And walk on the gentle path beyond regret. Come again, sit with me. One last time. We've traveled far, haven't we? Through shadows of the past, through the weight of regret, into the arms of forgiveness, and finally into peace. But maybe, just maybe, you are wondering something. What now? What do I do with this peace I have found? How do I live from here? That, my dear one, is what we explore today. This part is not about healing anymore. It's about living. It's about the quiet beauty that waits beyond regret. Because yes, there is a beyond, and it is not empty. It is full of life. Let me ask you gently, now that you are no longer haunted by your past, are you willing to begin again? Are you willing to let life surprise you? Are you open to joy? You see, For many people, regret becomes not just a memory, but an identity. They forget how to live without guilt, without sadness, without looking back. The pain becomes comfortable like old clothes. Even after peace knocks at their door, they hesitate to open it. Why? Because they don't know who they are without regret. But I want to remind you, you are more than your past. You are more than your mistakes. You are not here just to feel sorry. You are here to blossom. The Buddha never asked us to stay in shame. He asked us to awaken. And now, you are ready to wake up to the rest of your life. Here is a simple truth that brings freedom. You don't have to do something grand to make life meaningful. You don't have to become someone new. You don't need a perfect plan. You only need to be present with kindness. Wake up in the morning and smile. Yes, even if nothing is perfect, drink your tea slowly. Feel the wind on your skin. Speak gently to people around you. Thank those who stayed when you were not easy to love. Write letters you never sent. Say thank you more often. Say I'm sorry when needed. And above all, forgive even when you're not asked to. This is how you live beyond regret. Not by forgetting, but by walking gently. Let me tell you a story. There once was an old woman who lived alone near a small river. Every day, she would go to the water's edge and set paper boats afloat. Each boat had something written on it. I forgive you, I'm sorry, thank you, or I love you. One day, a traveler saw her and asked, "Why do you do this?" She smiled and said, "These are words I never said when I had the chance. But now, I say them to the river. I know they'll find their way." That woman understood something precious. It's never too late to release love into the world. You may not be able to change the past, but you can still send kindness into it. How? By living kindly now. When you forgive yourself, you are not only healing yourself. You are healing the version of you who didn't know better back then. Each act of compassion you do today rewrites the pain of yesterday. This is not magic. This is mindfulness. This is Buddhism in action. But let us go even deeper. Some people ask, what if I made the same mistake again, even after healing? Oh, that's okay. Healing is not a straight line. You may fall again. You may forget. But now, you have a light inside you. You know the way back. Every fall is shorter. Every return is quicker. That's growth. So never shame yourself for being human. That's not the path of Zen. That's not the way of the Buddha. The way is always notice, forgive, begin again. Now let's practice something. A daily ritual. A soft habit for your heart. Every night before you sleep, ask yourself, was I kind today? Did I listen to someone fully? Did I breathe when I felt upset? Did I forgive someone, even silently? And if your answer is no, it's okay. Just smile, place your hand on your heart, and say, I'll try again tomorrow. This is enough. This is sacred. Dear one, do not try to become a perfect person. Become a peaceful one, not by escaping life, but by embracing it fully. Laugh loudly. Cry without shame. Love even if it might break your heart. These are not things separate from a path. They are the path. Buddhism is not just sitting in silence with eyes closed. It is also how you treat the stranger on the street, how you speak to your inner voice, how you carry yourself when no one is watching. So walk softly. You're a new person now. There's one last story I want to share. A Zen student once asked his master, how do I know if I've truly let go of my past? The master said, when someone mentions your old pain and your heart remains still like a clear pond, then you are free. So I ask you, is your heart a still pond today? If not, don't worry. Stillness takes time. But even the wildest river becomes calm if you stop stirring it. Let time and practice do their gentle work. Your still pond is waiting. And finally, my last words to you. You were never broken. You were only learning. Now, carry your wisdom with humility. Share it with others, not to teach, but to walk beside them. Be the safe space for someone else who is still in pain. This is how regret becomes gold. This is how suffering becomes service. And this is how we become free. Thank you for walking all 13 steps of this journey with me. You have done something rare. You did not run away from pain. You sat with it. You listened. You grew. This is the way of the awakened heart. I bow to your courage. Now live. Simply. Kindly. Fully. The wind is gentle again. The sky is clear. Walk forward. Your path is sacred now.